Welcome back, all you sports and gambling fans out there. Today, we have some NHL betting coverage for you. And joining me here, Dave Golikov, our SBR contributor. The game we're looking at is the Minnesota Wild going up against the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, the Minnesota Wild attempt to strengthen their hold on a postseason berth. They had an opportunity to clinch a playoff spot this past Monday, but dropped its home finale to Winnipeg, which pulled within 2 points of the Western Conference. So what do you expect to see from this team in this spot, Dave, considering that they've already lost 3 times to the Blackhawks this season, man?
Well, I think from the Wild, you have to expect it. Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to expect anything from them. I mean, this is a team that was so bad to start the year, and then all of a sudden they acquired Devin Dubnyk and turn it around completely. And everybody's kind of waiting for this bubble to burst, and and they keep on playing well, keep on playing fantastic. They hadn't lost back-to-back games since January 20th. So for almost 3 months, they played phenomenal hockey, one of the best teams in the league. And now all of a sudden they've lost 3 straight, coming off a home shutout loss to Winnipeg. I think actually all 3 losses were at home. So it seems like there's been a changing of the tide here. But again, is it a changing of the tide? Is this a little slump for them? Is it, are they still going to get back to playing well with Devin Dubnyk in net? I mean, really, he's still played well. He was kind of hung out to dry against Winnipeg. And, you mentioned how they've played against Chicago. They lost 3 of the 4 meetings, but interestingly enough, they lost the 3 without Dubnyk, and they won the 1 with him. So, I mean, it really depends on where you think Minnesota is at right now. If you think that they're if you think that this is just like a short-term little slump, then yeah, I mean, the Chicago's been inconsistent this year in terms of winning some of these games. They're just 8-7 in their last 15 against teams with a winning record. Minnesota's been just as good as anybody over the last couple of months before this little slump. If you believe in those things there, you think it's a short-term thing for Minnesota and they get back to business, then they definitely deserve a play here, because the value is there. I think if you believe that, then saying minus 150 is a little bit too much. But I mean, as we talk about the Blackhawks here in a minute, there's good reason to believe that maybe the Wild are, maybe this is a sign of of bigger slumps to come for them.
Could they be just a little bit too tired, man? I mean, now that we're reaching the final stretch?
Yeah, I think fatigue could be a factor here. I mean, you take a look at the Wild and what they've done to Devin Dubnyk. I mean, he's still playing well, but this is literally riding him till the wheels fall off. Since they've acquired him, they've started him every time. This is a goaltender that hasn't started more than 41 or 42 games in a season in his entire career, and this team's going to the playoffs, and he's now started close to 40 games in a row. We're talking back-to-backs, 3rd and 4 nights, everything for him. I'm actually curious to see if they put him in net tonight. But in general, fatigue could be a factor for him. And specifically with this Wild team this week, this is not only a back-to-back situation for them because they played Winnipeg last night. It's also their 3rd game in 4 nights, their 4th game in 6 nights. So if you're looking at Chicago here and you're saying, well, Chicago minus 150, home favorite, they've sort of turned things around over the last month or so. They've won 13 of 19. The Wild have dropped 3 straight. Maybe we're a fraud over the last couple of months and now sort of playing like we all expected them to play. Beyond that, the Blackhawks have won 10 of 11 at home in this series, 15 of 23 meetings overall. I mean, there's definitely some good arguments for Chicago here too, and the line isn't too crazy. So, I mean, you can make a case for both sides here. It's more of a matter of where you think the Wild are at.
Right. All right, now, as for the Blackhawks, they're 3rd in the Central, 2 points behind the 2nd place Nashville, and 3 in the back of the division leading St. Louis. But they come into this game after dropping their most recent game against the Blues. Prior to that, they were on a 4-game winning streak. Might they be able to get back to their winning ways in this spot, man?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the Blackhawks still on the year have a winning record against teams above 500. They played better against teams with a winning record than they have against teams with a losing record. I mean, usually it's the other way around. So Chicago, I mean, they're at home facing a potentially fatigued Wild team. They dominate this series, especially at home. I mean, lots of things point the arrow in their favor here too.
All right, man. Odds have the Blackhawks favored by $1.50 to 164 on the money line with a total of 5 goals. What do we do here, man? I mean, I know that you don't like laying the big juice and all. Maybe a puck line play, or are we going to stick to a total?
Yeah, I think if the Blackhawks weren't so inconsistent in, I don't know, maybe just to me, but we've been burned by them way too many times this year. This is a game they probably win, though. I'll tell you that much. They do play better against teams with a winning record. Wild in a back-to-back. Chicago's won 10 of 11 in this series. These two teams could be facing off in the first round of the playoffs, too, so I don't think Chicago wants to give up an inch and give the Wild any hope. But, again, the Blackhawks have burned me enough that I'm going to stay away. Not 100% sure that the Wild are in a full slump, but it doesn't look good for them right now. Lost 3 in a row. And if they rest Devin Dubnyk tonight, then you definitely have to be on the Blackhawks. But I'm assuming Dubnyk plays as he has for the last 6 months. Ever since he's been in a Wild jersey, they basically put him in the crease. Doesn't even have a hotel room or apartment. They just leave him in the crease all night too. So if he's in net tonight, I'm going under the number. I think that's what makes sense to me right now. Wild with just 4 goals in their last 3 games. Blackhawks have been a dead under bet all season long, so that's what I'm going to go with here.
All right, man. Good stuff, Dave. Hey, man, as always, thanks for the insights and the pick here. We'll pick it up again soon. And everyone else, don't forget to check back with Dave tomorrow for some more sports coverage and your free picks. Till then, for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.